Hello everyone. Today I am going through the 420 assignment, the Congruence unit test for geometry. Now, some of the stuff we covered in class, some of the stuff was covered through Khan Academy, but all this stuff should be familiar. So, the first question says, find the value of x in the triangle shown below. So here I have a triangle. I'm given these sides. Now, you might think that, well, x is an angle, so therefore I want an angle. Why is it giving me sides? But what you notice here is that 7.2 is equal to 7.2. So if these two sides are the same, they have the same length, then what do you think is true about these two angles? They must be the same, right? If this is 7.2 and this is 7.2, then these angles must open in the same amount, right? Because this is directly across from over here. This is directly across from over here. This is isosceles. This is an isosceles triangle. Therefore, these two angles are the same. Okay, so I know three angles adds up to be 180. So therefore, 180 minus this is equal to both of these. And since these two angles are the same, I can just divide that by 2. Okay, so 180, that's this whole triangle, minus 32. That's the sum of these two angles. Okay, now I know they're the same. So if I divide this by 2, then each one of these is 74 degrees. Great. So Pete was able to map quadrilateral ABCD onto EFGH using translation and dilation. Translation just means he moved it, so you can see him moving it. Dilation, it means that you expand it or you shrink it. You know, like your eyes dilate when you are um, anxious or something, so your eyes will shrink or they will expand. Dilation just means I shrink it or I expand it. You can see it right here. I was able to map onto using a sequence of situations so the figures are congruent. Okay, he claims that they are congruent. So there are three choices here. There's two reasons, and then there's this. Okay, so for some of these, this will be a true fact. For others, he'll have done this incorrectly. But it's pretty easy to tell. Okay, um, the first one says Pete didn't use only rigid transformations, so the figures are non-congruent. So you need to know what a rigid transformation is, right? If you don't know what this is, then you can't answer the question. Okay. Um, I just want to clarify. So let's look it up. Rigid transformations. What are they? Is transformation in plane that preserves length. Okay. So you see here that rigid transformations, the pre-image and the image are congruent. So this webpage looks kind of weird and old, but you can see that only reflections, translations, and rotations are rigid, right? I can reflect something, I can translate it, I can rotate it, because that's rigid. It keeps the same shape and size. I can't highlight that, but so if we look at this, did he only use rigid transformations? This is rigid, right? What about dilation? Well, no, that's not rigid because it changes the size. So if it's not rigid, then it must be A. He didn't only use rigid transformations, so they're not congruent. Um, I don't. The other two are kind of the answer is A here, right? Because dilation is not a rigid transformation. You can just look it up if you're not sure. What is x in the figure shown below? This is an angle. Okay, so here, what I can see here is that it looks like this is 4.3, this is 3, this is 3, 4.3. I got two triangles. I know a side, I know this side, I know another side, I know another side. So I know two sides for both of them. I also see that they share the side. So for each triangle, I know this side, I know this side, I know this side. So S does work here because 3 is equal to 3, 4.3 is equal to 4.3, and they share the side. So S works here. They're congruent, they're the same. Okay, so is it 43? No, because 43 would go down here. Is it 69? Well, no, because 69 would go over here because it just flipped over. X would be over here. So what's over here? Well, this plus this is 180. So 180 minus 69 minus 43. That's what x is. That's what this angle is. They're congruent. Therefore, this is the same angle, 68 degrees. Uh, they're not drawn to scale. Are they congruent? No. Why? Well, just look at this, right? 7, 6, 5, 8. They're not the same sides. They're not equal. Okay, boom, we're done. They're not congruent. They don't have equal sides. So he tried. Alan was curious if segments JK and NM are congruent, so he tried to map one figure onto the other using transformations. So remember rigid transformations? What did he do? He translated this up here, and then he rotated it, it seems. So translation and rotation. Translation and rotation. Um, oh wait, sorry. This is the line, he only translated it. It's asking, could you have rotated it to map it? Could you translate it, or is this correct? Now clearly, look at this line, look at this line, they're the same length. If I just rotate it this way, over here, then yeah, right? They would be the same line. Rotation is rigid, so the answer is A. One more transformation, this rotation would map it, therefore they are congruent. So if I have x, look at this. This one's pretty easy, right? Side, 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 same thing like before, they're congruent. They're congruent because S, 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 S. What's x? Well, look over here, it's 92. Easy stuff. We know that. Find the value of x. Okay, same. You remember this question? Isosceles triangle. So 3.5 is across from here. 3.5 is across from here. So these are the same angle, right? Because they're across on the same side. Therefore, this is 55. So what's 180 minus 55 minus 55? That's 70. 70 plus 55 plus 55 is 180. Therefore, x is 70 here. Are they congruent? I think so. Uh, so what I'm looking for here is that I see these angles are not the same. But it looks like this might be 48, right? So what's 180? 180 minus 67 minus 65. That's 48. Is this 48? It is, right? So this is 48, right? Because that matches with that. This is 48. So they are similar. I know they're similar because their angles are the same. But I can see they're the same shape because the angles are the same, right? Clearly they look the same. I mean, that should kind of be a hint, right? But I know that they look the same because these angles are the same. This would be 67. Are they the same size? Well, yeah, right? 4 and 4. I think you can use AAS here. AAS. I think you can use that. They are congruent. Right? 48, 65, right? They're similar triangles, they're the same shape, and they both have this side being 4, therefore they're also the same size. What's value of x? Okay, these are also congruent, right? Why? S, 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 they share this side. SSS, they're congruent. What's over here? I don't know. But I know 180 minus these two will give me the answer. This is just the same as before. 180 minus 101 minus 45 gives me the answer of 34. X is 34 because that's what's missing over here. Great. Okay. Hope this helped. Thank you. Hope you have a great Monday. See you later.